not in courtrooms. INEC chair is saying that. Professor Joash Amoputan is saying that already. My name is Udwak Daniel, and let's get into it. Well, looking into the conversation this morning, though, it's revolving around the statement made by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amoputan, who emphasized that elections must be won at polling units, not in courtrooms. This assertion has sparked a heated debate about the role of the judiciary, especially in determining outcomes. And we've heard quite a number of us this morning earlier stating or piquing interest in that very statement of the professor himself, who happens to be, of course, the current and recent INEC chair. Now, Professor Joash Amoputan, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, was appointed as the INEC chairman by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, his statement reflects his commitment to ensuring that elections are decided by voters, not by judges. Now, he also went further to emphasize that his leadership will ensure that electoral victories are determined by voters, right, and not by judges. And quite a number of family members have said, do the talk, act the talk, and let's not just talk the talk, because talk is indeed very, very cheap. However, we've seen the likes of Honorable Edwards, who has also given voice to INEC chair said, saying, expressing optimism, right, in the words of the INEC chair. And so many Nigerians are also throwing their weight behind Professor Joash Amoputan, because in previous interviews he has shown and proven to be one who understands the entire process of electioneering and what it takes indeed to have a free and fair and credible elections. But how far how far are we going to go with this? That is the question. Somebody says, I'm waiting to see how far. It's not about the talk now. We will hold him accountable if in the end he does not really reflect this statement. Now, the INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amoputan, vowed to end the growing trend of elections being decided in courtrooms instead of at polling units. Now, he emphasized that elections must be won at the polling units, not in the courtroom. Amoputan made the statement at the 56th Annual National Conference of the Nigerian Association of Law Teachers, NALT, and this was held at the University of Abuja. Now, he also called on the National Assembly to strengthen existing electoral laws so that there will be a promoting for transparency, party discipline, and public confidence in the electoral process. Now, we have as our guest an erudite prof, for Professor Kamal Bello. He is a renowned expert in politics and administration, and is going to bring his wealth of knowledge to the discourse that concerns what Professor Joash Amoputan said when he said elections must be won at polling units, not in courtrooms. As the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences at the National Open University of Nigeria, Abuja, Professor Bello's insight should indeed give us invaluable understanding to the complexity of the issue. A very good morning to you, Professor. Good morning.
Good morning,
yes.
My host.
Oh, it feels good to engage you again in a discourse as serious and all important as this one this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me start by taking you up, from the question that borders around the believability of the statement as delivered by the INEC chair, Prof. Joash Amoputan. What do you think about this? And how would you analyze this, especially in the light of recent happenings and in view of an Anambra elections that is to come in a few days from now, if I'm not mistaken?
Thank you very much, my host.
Yeah.
It's normal. When you wear a new cloth, you will like to show it.
Right.
If you assume any office, you want to assert yourself that you're in control. But I do tell my colleagues and my students that leadership, until you assume office and check what is there, before you start making policies and pronouncements. As you have said, people have recorded him down and they are debating the statement. If I were him, I will not make that sweeping statement when you have not even spent a week in the office. Because leadership in Nigeria is not a tea party, particularly conduct of election. It's not a tea party. It's not a show. It's something somebody will sit down, study it before any pronouncement. As far as I'm concerned, it's good for the pronouncement he made so that we know that he's ready for the job.
Right.
Fortunately, unfortunately, our current national president of HASU, fortunately, they are from the same university. When he came in, the next thing he did was to declare 2-week strike. And he cannot even sustain the 2 weeks. With the hope that after the 2 weeks and the government did not meet up our request, the next thing is to go into full-blown strike. Not sustain. So my advice for him is that he has made this. He should not make more because Nigerians will be recording him. And they'll be referring to all his statements. He should talk less and act more.
Right.
Thank you.
Talk less and act more, you say, Prof.
More.
Okay, and it's too early for you to ascertain or begin to give big promises when you are just barely 2 weeks in the office. Some very strong statements right there, Prof. But then again, how will the emphasis on electoral reform affect the mental health and well-being of Nigerian citizens who have been disillusioned with the electoral process? If you also recall, his statements were in two parts. He says elections must be won at the poll, not in court. And he also reached out to the National Assembly, imploring them for election reform or INEC reforms that will indeed deliver the safe landing to the statement.
Sorry, I'm sorry to be a bit diva.
Right.
Why? The statement, if I were him, I would say, I will ensure, or I'm thinking in this line of making sure that election ends at the poll, at the polling station. Because you should remember that is part of our electoral law and part of our constitution that if you are not happy with an election, be a tribunal. And you have a right to go tribunal. So is he saying that he's going to change the law so that the election will end at the polling stations? It's too sweeping a statement because the Constitution provides for electoral tribunal. And if you are not happy with the tribunal, you can appeal. Some cases even go up to Supreme Court. It's not the fault of the politicians. This is the fault of our law. The Constitution has provided for us that we can seek redress when the election result does not favor us. And whatever the court says is final. So it's a process laid down by the Constitution. It's not that those politicians want to go for funfair by taking those processes. Secondly, the second part of his submission, I'm sorry, our problem in Nigeria is implementation. The rules and regulations, the policies on the ground is enough to take us to the El Dorado. Asking them to reform the Constitution so that election can be robust, election can do this, can do that, when the mindset of Nigerians have not changed. And what is the mindset? A do-or-die affair, which my professor made mention recently, Professor Ataru Jega, that the politicians take politics and election to be a do-or-die. That is when we need to work on their psyche. That election is a game like a football, and I must be a loser.
Right.
It's the psyche. It's the mindset. It's not the law that has problem. If we reform our law 10,000 times, and our psyche, our mentality, our approach to life, our do or die of election, nothing can change. Because law is in theory. The practice is us, the contestants, the politicians. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's look further into some of the conversations that he put. Now, according to him, he says the solution lies not in endless legal battles, but in strict adherence to the law. And Prof, you've also quoted the law and what the law provides in view of electioneering processes. And Amoputon stated, it says, if political parties obey their constitutions, respect the Electoral Act, align with the Nigerian constitution, the avalanche of pre-election cases will collapse. My goal is simply to make the law an instrument of change, not chaos. And he was citing he said the part where he says where in the last elections where over 1,000 pre-election cases were recorded ahead of the 2023 general elections. He says that is not democracy, that is litigation by other means and all of that. But some Nigerians have said, they've lauded this speech of his, saying that, look, the first time somebody's actually making a statement one of his caliber, one of his statures, making this type of statement for a vital sector as the INEC, the Nigerians are very much interested in. There is strong belief and optimism that he will indeed deliver. Because most of the time, Nigerians have said that when people say, I will try to, I will ensure to, is because they are not being wanted, they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held, accountable when they cannot deliver. But Amoputon saying, I will ensure, in fact, it was a vow. He vowed that this must. Now, let me also cast your mind back to the place where the National Assembly are proposing that the burden of the election petitions will now be resting on the shoulders of INEC as well. Is that also constitutional?
It's better said.
Wouldn't that infringe on the elections processes in itself?
That's what I said initially. It's better said than done. What does the electoral law provide? What does the constitution provide? Before any statement could be made, party constitution allows what we call direct primaries, indirect primaries, and consensus. So if all those three methods of electing representatives are provided for in the constitution, in the party constitution, that you can do direct election, you can do indirect, you can also reach consensus. Then somebody will now go to court. Now, why don't you do direct election? Option A4. So that people will queue behind the candidates.
Right.
Why do you go for consensus? And consensus is constitutional. Or somebody will say, why not indirect? Why do you go for direct? Why not ballot, secret ballot? And then the direct also is provided for, and somebody challenging it. That's why I said it's our mindset, it's our approach. It's a do or die way of handling election. If we take it as a game that if I lose, no problem. If I win, I thank God. But if it's a do or die, people should study what the constitution of the party says in terms of picking their representative. If that is done, nobody will go to court.
Right.
It's the mindset. Some party did direct election without register, membership register. What type of direct election is that? Come and queue behind me, queue behind your candidate. On what ground? On what registered? There must be membership register before you can do what you call direct election. And people are doing it. Yes, I'm with you.
So from the party level, we are getting it wrongly, and it becomes an Herculean task.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Yes, as he said over 1,000 pre-election litigations.
Exactly.
And on flimsies, have you not seen politicians in Nigeria after the Supreme Court has decided? They still go to the lower court so that they can change the decision of the Supreme Court, which is irrational. It's unreasonable. The highest court in Nigeria is Supreme Court. Whatever decision taken, you leave it for God until you meet on the day of judgment. Before God will judge over the two of you. But in Nigeria, some people are still fighting over the decision of Supreme Court when they know it's not ideal.
But let me ask you, how will what impact or what economic impact or social impact will emphasis on electoral reform lead to in view of the stance of the INEC chairman, where it be so? What economic and social impact will it have on Nigeria?
My suggestion is that the laws we have now, it is enough to give us in. It's our attitude. I started one example, maybe to your program, on your program, maybe another program, when President Yaradua was ill, and then people are not debating. If somebody is ill, is it not for somebody that is a deputy to take over automatically? And this next session of the National Assembly, they went and put it there in the law. That if the president is sick or governor is sick, the deputy should take over. Does that need to waste our time? If you know what we are doing in the country, it's a waste of resources. Waste our resources on nothing, on flimsies.
But Prof, even at that time, there were still technicalities being quoted where it was incapacitation. And where some quarters had said, that the president at the time was not totally incapacitated and that he was still fronting as a very able president that was handling issues from wherever he was. So that was what went down that time.
I'm sorry, do you know the Constitution provides that if you as a leader, president or governor or chairman of local government, you are going on vacation, not even sick, not ill, hand over to the deputy to continue your work.
In clarity, was it clearly stated that way? Clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need everything to be? If everything want to be clearly stated, which means our constitution will be as big as more than the Bible, because every nitty gritty we want it in the constitution. Can't we have best practice? Somebody stole money. You said there's no constitutional law to undo him. Somebody killed. You said there's no law. Somebody is a terrorist. We're not saying anti-terrorist law. You not debate that for the next 4 years. Somebody a terrorist, kill, and then you cannot handle him. Any law can handle a killer. Criminal laws provided for how to handle people that are criminals. We will now go back. How do we handle? You remember, the work of EFCC, work of ICPC, there's a section in the police that handled those things before.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Before we now created, and then see them now. The ICPC or EFCC is becoming a kind of octopus. And the president is saying the money they are collecting, percentage they are deducting from there is too high. He's questioning it. These are duties that could be performed by normal police.
Yeah. Let's put a peg to your thoughts and see how we can take this call now. Okay, we just lost connection to that call, but then you want to join the conversation. You want to tell us how you feel about the statement from the new INEC chair, who's barely a week old, Professor Joash Amoputa, saying that elections must be won at the polling unit and not in the courtroom. 09073 530 is the number to call. Hello and good morning.
Good morning once again.
Good morning to you, Honorable Edwards. So where are you calling from?
Yeah. I'm calling from a post.
Awesome. Talk to us, Honorable.
I appreciate our guests. And in the morning, I appreciated our INEC boss. But somehow, go to the, and I'm beginning to observe so many things. Because all what we are saying here, let me be honest to you. I think the INEC may have intention to do the right thing. But don't forget that it's affected by someone, but that does not stop people doing the right thing as a lawyer. Because lawyers are well respected and it's expected that lawyers should behave as such.
Right.
Now, the constitution of our political party is becoming more than our own constitution. I think that is a major problem now. So, my contribution this morning is the INEC board should look into independent candidates. Do you know that we have some credible candidates now that they don't have any political party to contest under? Let me be honest with you. There are Nigerians who are good candidates. They cannot go to APC. APC will give them a lot of headache and disqualify them or disfranchise them or intimidate them or do something that they will not get the candidate they will give it to. They will not get the ticket I give can never and will not contribute to the development of this country. So Mr. Peter will be as it stands. I'm not his spokesman, but let me tell you something. He's a good candidate. Where does he belong? So the other chairman should look into that because all what our guest is saying here, or I am saying, or you, let me tell you something. The frustration in our political party, particularly those that are in power, is something else.
Okay.
It's something else.
All right.
So before this, now the National Assembly are working on our constitution. This is the right time for the INEC chairman, to send that to the National Assembly so that they can include it in our constitution. Honestly speaking, let's have an independent candidate. It's the best thing that will help us.
All right. Appreciate that one, Honorable Edwards.
To add to it, where on earth can someone pay 10 million naira? Can someone pay 100 million naira to contest? And if we're talking about the corruption, where did you get that money? Because if we know that Mr. Odua is a good candidate, he should be given that ticket. He should be given it free. People will vote for him. But because of that 100 million, because of that 50 million, you may not be able to get a ticket. Is that not frustration? Where is it the constitution?
Right. Okay.
Is the best. Thank you.
Independent candidate is the best. You want to also add your voice? 0907 353 0041 44 is the number. Hello, good morning. Hello. Please. What's your name? Where are you calling?
Yes, greet your guest special. My name is Undu.
Awesome. Talk to us.
Yes. I want to still maintain my position that all we want to see is result. We want to see action. We have been promised a lot, like the past immediate past INEC chairman Yakubu. He promised us a lot, especially during the last election, that he was going to transmit results live. But at a point in time, we noticed that he has gone back on his word. And we also noticed that there are two major issues here. One is that those professors who are returning officers of INEC, in the state, they will always go and collect results, and then some of them they will compromise. The result will be changed. But there are some of them, few of them, who stood their ground that no, you cannot change the result. Like the one, in Abia State, the woman, Professor Ngozi, she stood her, ground. The Labour Party has won. We're not going to change the result. And the one in, Enugu State too, he couldn't stand his ground very well. Labour Party won, in Enugu State. But somehow they were able to compromise. They took the result to Abuja and they changed it and allowing Governor Mbah to win the election just by 3,000 plus votes. And also, in those states where the returning officer messed up a lot, they were about 4 different results. One on the IF and another one, with the their agent, and so many other ones. again, the election at the state level is a sham. Any governor that conduct local government election, they win all seats. We want to see changes where a city governor will conduct local government election and might even lost all the seats. We want to see the real thing. So let the INEC chairman, the national chairman, try to see what he can do about the state electoral commission. Any governor that conduct those elections, they just win all seats. It is something that is so painful and irritating. We don't want that thing to happen again. Right. And lastly, we want to see the INEC chairman doing what he's saying at the Anambra pool that is coming. Okay. He's going to serve as a litmus test for him. So let us begin to see it happen, in the Anambra election that is coming. Thank you.
All right, let's begin to see it happen. Do the talk and don't just make statements that you cannot indeed stand by. Well, let's get back with our guest now. And please, let's stick to calling the number 0907 353 0044, right? As we reconnect with our guest right now, Professor Kamal. Professor Kamal, are you there? You've heard what family members are saying in this regard. What would be your thoughts?
Yes, I'm with you.
Right. You heard what the family members are saying, didn't you?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Prof? Hello, Prof? Okay, we will try our best to reconnect. Prof, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you now.
Okay.
I was not hearing you
All
for
right.
some second.
Awesome. Go ahead and tell us what you think about some of the reactions that you have heard from the family members in view of this conversation.
One thing about us in Nigeria is that we make contribution based on our conviction.
Based on our what?
What do I mean? For now, there is no independent candidate provided for in our electoral system. And the next election remains barely 1 year plus. We are almost ending 2025. By 2026 election we start. Even the National Assembly is suggesting that let's conclude the election by November 2026. So which time do we have now to amend the constitution for an independent candidate to come up? The time is not there. If anybody is just calling for independent candidate, it's as if it's just been utopian, because I'm not seeing it feasible. Secondly, INEC has a role to play in party registration, in the conduct of primaries, and so on and so forth. But as it cannot enforce what is to be done in the parties. Number 3, the conduct of election at local government, for now, based on the constitutional provision, is within the purview of the state governors. And INEC cannot do this unless the constitution changes. So that's my take.
Okay. INEC cannot
Except
do
if there are other points they raised that I do not touch.
Right. Well, anyways, you did touch, but then again, a conversation that's still trending on here, and you can join the discourse. You can send a message via the WhatsApp portal number 0909-705-4450. The new INEC chair is barely a week old, if I'm not mistaken, and is already making tall statements right here. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Dr. UD.
Good morning to you, my brother.
Thank you so much. This is the advocate reaching you from Sun City.
Awesome,
Abuja.
the advocate. Welcome aboard. Talk to us already. What do you think?
Thank you very much. I greet your guest. In fact, I celebrate your guest very well. He has spoken eloquently well. But you see, I have a problem with this idea of the president hiring who represents INEC as the DG.
Okay.
You see, if I have the power to hire and fire you, and UD, out of every other person, I decide to hire you, and you know that I have the power to fire you, whose bidding will be loyal to at the end of the day?
I should be loyal to you, my brother.
Of course, because when you know I have interest in something and that thing comes under your purview, what would you do? Is it not in my favor? So there's a pertinent challenge that needs to be worked upon before we can then begin to clamor or request or look at having good and credible elections. Otherwise, I tell you, it's an effort in futility when you allow somebody to hire somebody and then you are expecting a credible election. It cannot work that way. It's almost impossible. So asking for clarity, a credible election right now is a waste of time. We just have to wait till 2037 when this when the president's second tenure is over. That is when we can now begin to clamor for. Otherwise, they have the lawmakers have to sit and amend that constitution, that law that allows the president to hire the INEC chairman. Okay. Then we can then look forward to getting better elections going forward. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the advocate right there, advocating without fear or favor. And yes, coming back to you, Prof.
Yes, sir.
You already heard that. I mean, it says the problem is not even about that. We should not even expect anything to come out of what the INEC chair said. I mean, he that pays the piper dictates the tune. Do you agree with him?
I agree 100% with the advocate. Thank you, Mr. Advocate. We are with the foundation. When the foundation is poor, the bidding will be nonsense. If the president, not Tinubu now, that is how it has been. When Obasanjo, when Jonathan was there, when Buhari was there, they have that power to nominate. So if you have power to nominate somebody that will conduct your election, definitely, and he can fire you, what do? You have to succumb. So I agree with him in totality.
Okay.
That's the foundation.
Right.
Any other thing we are bidding on it, we are just wasting our time. It cannot work. It can't stand.
All right. Well, we see this one here, a message coming from Samuel all the way from Kuje, says, good morning to you and the guest. Good morning. It says, INEC chairman should know that Nigerians are good in keeping records, and so he should be extra careful with his utterances. He should not talk to impress anyone. Enough of talk. Show what we need now. Enough of talk show. What we need now is action. Again, the INEC chairman should know that he is working among politicians who are so desperate, and so as a lawyer, he should watch out before they mess him up. I rest my case. Have a fulfilled day, he says. Samuel right there giving us 2 cents. Now let's go take this one here. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Edward, sorry, I'm calling again. Please.
Honorable, welcome back. Talk to us.
Is our prof there? Is he still there?
Yes, prof is
I'm
here.
with you.
I want to ask him some questions. I think before that, let me say something. He said there's no time to amend that constitution. That is the symptoms of manipulation. Let me answer me. How long does it take for Mr. President to change our national anthem? How many days? How many hours? Is our constitutional amendment ongoing or not?
Are you asking me a question?
How long does it take, Mr. President, to send INEC chairman names to the National Assembly? And how long does it take for the National Assembly to confirm the INEC chairman? So why is he saying that there's no time for that? There's nobody. As a professor, he should know that. We know why.
Are you asking me a
won
question?
election.
Okay,
and I want to tell you that.
Yeah.
I want to tell you that.
Okay.
I want to tell you that.
All
I'm part of it. It's the only way they don't want to do the right thing. That will start talking about time.
Okay. All right.
Let's
have the prof attempt an answer, to your question.
Are you asking me a question?
Yes, he was asking a question. It says,
with due respect.
Yeah.
I don't know your field. Maybe you are a professor of politics like me.
A politician.
Or political science.
A politician, actually.
Is a politician.
Yes.
The process of amending a constitution, a single line, we call our constitution a rigid. It's a rigid constitution. Nigerian constitution is not flexible. And it's a written constitution. It's rigid. Rigid in the sense that before you amend a word there, you have to go to the 2 assemblies, the Green Chamber, representative, the right minute and get 2/3 of majority, not simple majority, to agree to that amendment. When you get that, you have to go again, do what we call public hearing, and go to the States Assembly. 36 states now. 2/3 of the States Assembly must also agree to that amendment. 24 states must agree. It's in that spirit I was talking. I'm not a politician in the Nigerian term, but at least I know what political science is, and I know the Nigerian government and politics. To amend the Nigerian Constitution, for emphasis, is rigid. You need 2/3 majority of the National Assembly, the two chambers, and 2/3 of State Assembly, 24 out of 36. Thank you.
All right, Prof, he cited something. How long did it take us to change our national anthem? Go back to the previous one. I think that's where he was also coming from. It was so fast. Didn't even take time.
It's national anthem,
Yeah,
a constitutional provision.
right.
It's a practice.
Okay. So that
It's not a constitutional provision.
Thank you for that clarity. Right.
People are creating local government. They are faulting them that they have no right to create local government because local government is a constitutional provision. They now went back and said, "Okay, we are not creating local government. We are creating local development centers, just not to violate the constitution, because the constitution has stated how many states, how many local government. Before you can increase it, you have to do some amendment. It's not something you create by fiat. So national anthem, I'm sorry, is not a constitutional provision. It's a practice. Like moving our democracy day from 29th May to June 12th. It's not a constitutional matter. It doesn't take much. Like changing the International Conference Center to President Tinubu International Conference Center. Those are practices. It's not a constitutional matter. There are some things you can do, which is not a constitutional provision. But there are some things you cannot do unless you tinker with the Constitution.
Okay.
So thank you very much. I'm not
Right.
talking as a politician,
Right. Okay.
but I'm talking in reality.
Right.
Thank
Talking
you.
in reality, the Professor Kamal is speaking now audaciously. And we've got Joseph from Jai now says, good morning, UD, good morning. I would not concede what the new INEC boss says until he is starting collecting like terms, because you cannot just go to a new place and start saying something. The only time the new INEC boss can say something is when he can understand, identify like terms and combination of the like terms of his office. Okay, thank you, Joseph, right there from Jai. All right, and we will just take this call now. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Mr. Odua, I'm calling again. Just
All right.
the prof didn't answer my question at all.
Okay, what's the question?
He said there is no time. There's no time for this. Is constitutional amendment ongoing or not?
It's ongoing.
Is it? It's ongoing. So why is he saying that there's no time? Which is there any part of the constitution that cannot be amended in this constitutional amendment? He's my boss in the field. Of course, I'm going to that is too, but he's my boss. But what the question is so practical.
Okay. Hello?
What is the question, please? What is the question again?
Well, he's saying that, look, the Constitution amendment is ongoing as we so speak, right? And that the constancy of pushing back certain amendments in the name of there is no time, we cannot meet up, and all of that is why we are where we are today. That if we are indeed ready and serious, there is no time that is not a good time to attest to the Constitution and work on it for the betterment of the people. So are we ready as a people?
Sorry to say, I'm talking as an intellectual.
Okay.
And I will betray my profession if I speak otherwise. I cannot speak like a politician. And I cannot speak like a mediocre. And I cannot speak like somebody who do not know. Sir, the question here, sir, look at it. This constitutional amendment has a year ago. And they have listed X, Y, Z they want to do. And they have gotten to advanced stage to conclude. And you are saying now they should bring another one in and join it with the XYZ. It's not intellectually possible. A process you have started a year or more ago, and you want to bring another one to jump. It's like a student. Somebody read primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they are going to 6 to give him a school leaving certificate. And you say, okay, bring another student there, another pupil, so that he can graduate with them. It's not possible. That's my submission.
Okay. Well, Professor Kamal, I mean, thank you, far too kind so far. But then, what would you think that would have been done differently by the new INEC chair, especially in adding vitality to the process of determining who the next leader would be?
You know, many of us in Nigeria, we have bad experience about election. So anybody that is coming there, 50% of our mindset is that he cannot succeed. One wanted him, and that person can also fire him. 2, the political parties. 3, the contestants, the politicians. All those orders are there for him. So as I've said initially, he should talk less, act more. It is his work that will speak for him. And he should settle down in that office. He should sit down, study the process of that office before any pronouncement. You are a law teacher member. You have opportunity as INEC. They invited you. Greet them. Thank them. If you have little coin, donate to them and leave. It's not a place where you make pronouncements. Strong political pronouncement. 1 or 2 of the contributors reminded him, Nigerians know how to keep record.
Right.
And you continue to hammer on it. That this is what you promised. This is what you promised. You did not fulfill it. But when you speak less, then all this will not happen. He has appointed somebody to be a media advisor. Although I'm not looking for a job, but he needs a political advisor.
Okay.
Because the outgoing chairman or other chairmen, they have what you call political advisor, who will know the political life of Nigeria and be able to tutor him. He knows the law. Agree. No, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria.
That's right.
But he needs to know more about Nigerian government and politics, which is like Polo 101 in the university system.
Polo 101. Okay, Professor Kamal Bello right there. He's a renowned expert in politics and administration, and he has brought his wealth of knowledge to the discourse that concerns what Professor Joash Amoputa said, that elections must be won at polling units and not in courtrooms. I, for one, would love to see that this is the reality. But then again, are we living in a realist, society? Are we living in an idealist society? You never know how far the statement will go. Nigerians are bookkeepers, record keepers, and we already taken down that one and waiting for him maybe on Judgment Day. I don't know. But whatever it may be, let's hope in anticipation that his stance will indeed become what will be on the lips of many Nigerians, lauding him for what he had said this time when that time arrives. But thank you, Prof, for adding your voice in the discourse right here. Legal advisor, but then there's a need for political advisor, and it might just be under poll 101. I get that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Right.
I have to sacrifice some things for this your program today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Because of your enthusiastic way of presenting the program.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
You take it, you are a patriot when it comes to this program presentation.
Right. Appreciate it.
I'm talking to you, National
Wow.
State University,
Wow, thank you.
to
Awesome.
attend the Nigerian Political Science Association of Nigeria, the North Central Zone.
Oh, great. Great.
I was to join the elders
Oh.
of the zone to visit the Vice Chancellor by 9 o'clock. I said I have a radio program which I promised, because promise to me is a debt.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof, for the sacrifice. And if you can, you might as well want to send us some highlight of the discourse right there. That'll be nice, so that we can also gain some knowledge as to what's going on in that very occasion, if that's okay.
It's okay.
Appreciate
It's
it.
okay.
Thank you so much, Prof. Right.
Yeah, well,
Yes, and this is where we call it a close, though. But thank you, too, for being a part of this one. You already heard it from the erudite Prof, and he has given us 2 cents. It says, I'm speaking as an academician, right? That's what it is. And he said, I will not betray, the very academics that I stand to defend. And I'm coming from that point of view. But then you have also come from your own point of view, and it is noted. Let us see how this statement from Professor Joash Moputan